Want to tear some stuff up with me today? Hey, it's Care. Welcome to Montego at the Lake. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today's gonna be kind of chill. Although, I have to tell you, it's sort of history in the making. In that, normally, in order for me to do my craft thing, my room has to be clean. And so consequently, I'm cleaning more than I'm crafting. I made this fine little mat just because it was fun. These are dictionary pages, and on the other side are paw prints. Just something different for you to look at other than my craft mat. But it right now is hiding a multitude of sins, and maybe I've just discovered a YouTube crafter secret. If you cover it up, you can work on top of it. Tip number 1, craft anyway. That's a big thing for me, but I want to craft more, work less. Right? Oh. So today all I'm doing, I got this beautiful Reader's Digest, I believe 1966. Yeah, right there, 1966. Specifically for Christmas. I want to do several Christmas books. I think this one will be my vintage Christmas glue book. It's sort of ivory and red and green, and it couldn't be more perfect. Beautiful green papers and papers. Today, for this little video, all I'm doing is chilling out. It's the weekend. It's time to just take a deep breath and just relax a little bit. So I am pulling out the pages that have the illustrations on them before I start gluing anything down. I've done quite a few altered books. I love tearing the pages out, even though, oh, those first few just broke my heart, my writer's heart. my writer's self's soul just cried at first, but I got over it because it's really given these books a new life. A different life, but a new life. You know, they'd be thrown out eventually, or who knows where they'd end up. But now they're getting attention every single day. They're getting beautified and wonderful, and I don't feel guilty anymore. So I'm just gonna chat a little bit and tear up pages. So if you have something to do, like some fussy cutting, or you want to do an altered book, go get one of the books you plan to alter and tear out some pages with me. Or, you know, just sit and watch. Sometimes I quite enjoy watching people do this. So here's me paying it forward. One of the things that happens when you tear pages out is you get some leftovers. And I have these fantastically sharp tweezers. I mean, the point on those bad boys will do some serious damage. And so I use these to go in and grab hold of those little bits and pull those out of there, because they just make life kind of irritating. Some come out better than others. This one's being kind of troublesome, but usually once you get a hold of it, you can just grab it out. And this is where I use my relish tray. I just put it right handy, and I collect all this crap in one spot. That way it's not all over my desk. So this one I'm not going to worry too much about because it's just being troublesome. But I did get most of it out. But a nice pair of tweezers, boy, it sure is handy in the craft room. You could probably hear the TV going in the other room. I leave it on for my beastlies while I'm working so that they don't get lonesome. But it's a little loud. Learned so much about stuff looking at these old books, right? While I'm here and while I got stuff going on, I don't know if you can see that, but cover has got a little bit of, hey Rye, come and sit with us. We got to get a new chair because there's no room out here on this one for you like there is on the other. Hi, sorry. I got these clips at the Dollar Tree up by the checkout area. They are so handy. I used them in the kitchen for years and years. Very handy in the craft room. My mom asked me the other day, I'll try, hang on. Really, there's not much room, but you can try. We have a tiny little office chair in here right now. We're scoping out new ones as we speak. Anyway, my mom asked me the other day why I thought this is such a thing. And because I'm fairly new to it, she's fairly new to it, it feels like a new thing. Anyway, because it's new to us, we tend to think it's a new thing. And of course, this has been around. Seems to me, I think it was Pam at the Paper Outpost showed, I believe it was an old newspaper folded with things glued in it from the early 1900s. Don't quote me on that. It's been a long time since I've seen that video, but this is not new. People have been cutting up paper and gluing it down in different ways since paper began. But I think one of the reasons it appeals to us is it's something that takes us back to the safety of childhood, you know, to a simpler time in our life, when we were in school or when we were at daycare or when we were, for me, it was at my grandma's house, tearing up paper and gluing and making crafts. There's just something about it. And I've said in other videos, I wish this was smell-o-vision, because these old, it doesn't smell old per se, but it has a certain smell that takes me back to being at Grandma's house and being at Grandma's cottage. There's just a certain smell. I get whiffs of it in the old playing cards and certainly in these old books. If you've ever spent any time at an old lodge or an old cabin, not necessarily super old, because sometimes it just goes over the top, musty, nasty. But this is not that. It's just a warm, inviting, familiar smell. It's almost like time travel or going in the wardrobe to get to Narnia. It just transports, yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons we like it. Plus, we're doing stuff with our hands and using different parts of our brain than we do in other areas, you know, when we're paying the bills or driving to work or working from home or doing computer work, those kind of things. This just taps a completely different part of our brain and our psyche. Anyway, there's just something wonderful about the feel of the paper, the smell of the books, gluing things back together, making something out of nothing. You know, that's pure alchemy almost. I remember Grandma would watch her soap operas. I'd be on the floor just crafting away, artsy crafting away. I was writing my books or listening to my little record player or making something. I was always making something. So I'd love to hear in the comments below, why do you do this? What draws you to it? What's the best part for you? I love that there's so many masculine things, boys playing baseball and army and fishing, and certainly go in my couple journals I'm making for the men in my family someday. I've made lots of altered books, and when I do that, there's kind of a rhyme and a reason. You take out so many books, or excuse me, so many pages at one time in order to glue the pages together. You do keep one, take out 5, keep one, keep another, take out 5. I mean, there's sort of a formula to it. And this is, since it's going to be a glue book, I'm not following that formula at all. I'm just taking out all of the pages with pictures on it for right now. And people are going to ask, I know, these are Mrs. Grossman. I got it in a sticker. Oh, I can't remember what it was called. It was a kit. It came with these tweezers and a little red zip pouch with a little tiny container of talc or resin to, you peel off the sticker and you coat it with that resin, so now it's not sticky, and you could put it on pop dots to make it three-dimensional, or you could glue it flat down. I got it when Creative Memories first came out and scrapbooking kind of took off, and I remember it was really expensive, and it was, oh, it was so cool. Like getting a Crocodile Big Bite is now. It was so awesome. I waited and waited to get it and finally got it, and it's paid off. I have used these ever since. They are so handy. So if you go online and you look up tweezers, there is every kind of style. Oh my God, they're crazy. There's needlepoint style and whatever these are, and normal style, and I'm not making any judgments about these pictures right now. I'll decide whether to keep them or not later. All I'm doing is taking those out and seeing how many pages I still end up with. The reason I'm taking these little bits out is because they tend to mess up how the pages lay or don't. And I think it just kind of bugs me that they're in there. Keep things simple. Does it matter? If it matters, do it. If it doesn't matter, leave it. Even though these don't have any photos on, I like the text for clusters. It's all in italics. I also have been saving locations and dates. London, June 27th, 1942 is a pretty cool date and place. London, July 1942. So that's the reason I'm keeping that one, even though there's no photos on it or illustrations. You know, I wasn't paying attention, but holy smokes, now that I'm reading little bits and pieces more of this Churchill piece, we just went through the war. 1944, we're coming up on the other end of the war, I guess, 1945, 1942. Some of these that are like this one, where it's just a paragraph, all planes have been taking off from Malta's Lucca airport to carry our party of 700 across the Aegean and Black Sea to Crimea, 1,400 miles away. It'd be pretty cool to just put pieces of this, these nice little chunks, into my uncle's military book. Just little snapshots of that era. Hopefully there are more little snippets specifically about the war in the ones I already cut out. I think I might have mentioned this on another video, but I had found a couple of volumes of a 1935 encyclopedia. Whatever number it is has the letter N as in Nancy, and in the pages of the encyclopedia it talks about Nuremberg, and it tells all about the city and its location and its history and all kinds of information about Nuremberg. But of course, it's 1935. The war hasn't happened. Hitler hasn't been Hitler yet. And so the Nuremberg trials are years down the line. And so this encyclopedia is pre-Nuremberg trials. I just thought that was fascinating, that, you know, now as soon as you say Nuremberg, anyone of a certain age, the first thing they think of is Nuremberg trials. Oh, I love that. Just to paint is great fun, Churchill wrote in Painting as a Pastime. The colors are lovely to look at and delicious to squeeze out. He rejoiced with brilliant colors and hoped that in heaven, orange and red would be the darkest hues. Nice. So cool. You learn so much from these old books. Oh, a nice bunch of old pics. Look at the regalia. Holy smokes. Look at the regalia. Sort of grungy background. This pattern is really cool. Even though it's all bridey, here comes the bride kind of stuff. it's got a lot of cool stuff going on that doesn't have to be bright. Again, those colors, so I would take all of that off for collage. Look how pretty, purple and creamy yellow and gorgeous. Gorgeous. Another thing that appeals to me about this kind of paper crafting is there's fun at every level. Like, this is preparing a book for something else later, but this part is very relaxing, very enjoyable. And then later, harvest these pictures that I'm cutting out for different projects, either for collage or for specific projects or for glue booking. That's a whole different process, harvesting those images, but it's super relaxing and enjoyable. Again, you're handling the paper and tearing and or cutting, all good stuff. And then when you get to put it all together, maybe you want to make a book to put it all in. Making the book is pretty cool too, something out of nothing. And then you get to decorate the book and then see it come together, and then maybe give it away, give it as a gift, or put it up for sale, or show it off on a flip through. Or every step of the process is fun, different levels of fun, because this eventually gets old too, you know. You don't want to do too many of these, and people like different parts of the process. Like, for some this might be way too tedious and they hate this part, but they like a different part that I find tedious. Another thing that I think it teaches us anyway, at least one of the lessons I've had to learn, is the time it takes to do this. Some crafters are super fast and they get a lot done all the time, all the time. And some of us are slower. I went into this, oh, I'm so tempted to keep that little piece. Okay, keep it. All right, you can keep it. Thank you. I feel better. I've learned that it's okay to leave a project unfinished. That kind of goes against my grain. I like to start something and finish it. And a lot of these projects, you can't do that. You just can't. That's a good lesson. So these pages are still folded and tucked in here and sewn and glued, so that whatever they're attached to on this side of it, they're still going to be attached. It's fine and dandy. That they're not going anywhere. And if they do, well, we know how to fix it. We have the technology. I was watching a true crime the other day, and an older man was murdered. He was late 70s when he was murdered. The murder was incredibly vicious at first glance. Just overkill, 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 overkill. Why would it be so vicious? Why would someone kill someone so much? Like, different ways. There was a bash in the head, and then there was electrical cord around his neck, and then he was beat about the head and shoulders and face, and then he was, I don't remember all of them, but just like however many times you could kill a person, all on one person, they did this. Well, it turns out that the old man, the victim, had a pacemaker. No, excuse me, not a pacemaker, a defibrillator implanted in his bad heart. And they downloaded all the information from that defibrillator in his heart and found out that he died 8 times. And I got a bit of a twisted giggle out of that because, can you imagine the murderer? He killed him. He's laying there dead on the floor. But the defibrillator, bam, wakes his heart back up, and the old man's not dead. So he kills him again. And bam, the defibrillator starts his heart again. I just thought that poor killer must have thought he was dealing with, like, Jason from the Friday the 13th movies. You can't kill him. Good luck, you can't kill him. Because he just kept coming back to life. That machine in his heart did what it's supposed to do, and jump-started him back to life and jump-started him back to life. What a nightmare for the murderer. You know, it takes a lot to work up the courage to kill somebody once. Okay, you're not dead. Well, fine. Here, I'll tie this cord around your neck. Oh, God, he's awake again. Oh, God, he's still alive. Oh, my God. I just thought, in a sick and twisted way, that was funny. Not for the old man. Poor guy. Holy smokeroni. That's not good. That's not good at all. But that's something you don't think of with a defibrillator. You know, I would never have put those two things together. Like, oh, someone's murdering him. And it turns into a wee bit of a nightmare for all concerned. These are so sharp. I just brushed it against this page and it cut it. Like, they're so sharp. Look at that. You just gotta run it across that page. They're almost like an X-Acto knife. Holy cats, that's gotta go. Another thing I love about this kind of crafting is there's always something else to do. Like, I couldn't wait to just sit down and do this part of the, I just wanted to do this. And I just wanted to put it on video, and here we are. And we've been doing it now for probably half hour or more, because I'm chatty. But now I'm getting bored, and I don't want to do this anymore, even though I have 4 more books to do. I will not be doing more of this evening. Unless I do it for the, I think I'm going to do fussy cutting, because I can do that more mindlessly, for the true crime. So crafty, it's criminal. I gotta keep saying it to myself so I get it right. So crafty, it's criminal. I don't remember who I was talking to. I don't talk to that many people, but I was telling them about my take at the lake and what junk journaling is and what I hope to contribute to this conversation in this crafty community. I have no idea who I was talking to, which is bizarre now, because now that I am saying this, whoever I was talking to knows me pretty good, but we don't talk a lot. And I had said that I had started a YouTube channel, and they just assumed, given my background and all the work that I've always done, they just assumed that it would be in true crime. Oh, I got it. No, it's actually in junk journaling. Then you got to stop and explain what junk journaling is, because outside of this little community, Instagram, Pinterest, people have no clue what we're talking about. So I explained that, but then said, you know, but for the mundane projects and whatnot, I do some true crime. It scratches that itch. I am a huge true crime buff. Have been for a really long time. I was a journalist for a little while when I was in grad school. I thought that being a true crime writer was what I was going to do. I have written a true crime book, and parts of it will be featured on So Crafty It's Criminal episodes. That'll probably take up a few episodes, because I want to share my favorite bits from the book with you, and that'll be, there's a few different ones that I want to share, so can't do them all at once. As I had said earlier, some personal experiences with true crime. For example, family, my boyfriend and my quote-unquote best friend in high school threw me a surprise Sweet 16 party, and one of the guests at my surprise Sweet 16 party, about a year later, murdered his father. Wowzer! So there was a murderer at my Sweet 16 party. Holy shnikey. So that's a quick story. It's, you know, doesn't have a whole lot, but it's interesting, I think. Not many people can say that. A lot of military illustrations in here, which is awesome. Because all 3 of the men's books that I'm doing, my cousin, my uncle, and my dad is Air Force, so he's into military. uncle. He's into World War II and military, even though he was not in the armed services. He is a merchant marine, so to speak, sort of. I don't know if that's they don't really call him that where we're from, but technically that's what it is, sort of. And my cousin, when he was growing up, was obsessed with playing army. I swear I thought he was reincarnated, because the things he would say when he was playing army, he was so young. You know, he wasn't really talkative. He didn't talk a whole lot, but when he was playing army, holy smokes, the stuff that came out of his mouth between his army guys, he'd be barking out orders and making plans and doing all these army things. I thought, how would he know that? How would he know that at this age? He doesn't watch that stuff on TV. Where would that come from? If not from a past life. I don't know. So many mysteries. Almost there. We're almost there. I'm so excited. Look at the painting on the ceiling, it looks like. Wow. That's an interesting illustration. These back ones are tearing out terribly. The first ones came out. Maybe I'm not being as careful, because now I'm in a hurry, but it's taking me longer. Wah, wah, wah. Oh, nice aircraft carrier or some kind of military boat. Very cool. See, and I know why I use my little relish tray, because holy smokes, there's a lot of garbage that comes out of this. And that's stuff I don't have to pick up. I can just dump it. Easy peasy, because we're all about keeping it simple. Oh dear, this isn't going to end well for the girl on the horse. Two girls out riding. One's not faring well. I'm leaving this bit in here even though it's boring and tedious. Sometimes that's part of it. And often we're not shown that part of it. And it's important because it could get frustrating if we don't know that it's there and we're doing it and no one else is. That makes you feel like you're doing something wrong and you're not. Sometimes it just gets tedious. Almost there. Look at it go. Well, that's a nice creepy dark picture. Oh, there. Holy smokes. Still quite a few pages in there. Still quite a few pages in. So, I don't know. I suppose it just depends on how much I want to glue. That's a lot of pages to fill up. There are some options here. I can glue two together, and so you'll have nice thicker pages, which is always nice to work on. The other thing I'll probably do both. I may glue my pages together as I go. But there are some places in here where you can see that it's still pretty thick, that I didn't take many out, and some places where I took a lot out. So I think I'll just take a look at that. Not here. I won't force you through any more of this. This has been enough. I don't think I'll force myself into it today. I think I'll tear out more. I'm going to shoot for maybe a third of the pages to be gone. I might do a quick count and see how close I am to that right now. And we'll go from there. But that's one way to prepare a Reader's Digest for to make it a glue book. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I feel better when I record these that I'm working. That makes me feel better, even amidst this chaos. Now I'm going to go clean for a while. Have a lovely, lovely crafty day. I hope you're enjoying your weekend if it happens to be such. And if it's not, I hope you're enjoying whatever the day of the week it happens to be where you happen to be now. Much I get the link. Out for now.